Well, of course, a week ago, many people, anyone left of John McCain, Liz Cheney, I don't know, anyone, who still wants to live a dignified life and have others do the same, felt a tinge of hope. Because of course, Zoran Mamdani became or was elected mayor of New York City. Also, you had massive Democratic wins across the country. On policies in governorships, this was huge. And then, after reporting that Donald Trump was deeply worried about the election and how the shutdown, 40 days, 41 days strong, was affecting Republicans in polling at the polls, um, all the cope coming in from the Republicans, the Democrats decided, you know what? I'm tired. I'm done. Senate Democrats, again, the most undemocratic body in this country, and the most, just littered with cowards, nothing but money and cowards. 8 Democrats, none of whom are up for re-election next year. In fact, 2 of whom are retiring, decided to give the Republicans the go-ahead on a procedural vote to possibly end the government shutdown. Now, there's a couple that we're talking: Angus King of Maine, Tim Kaine of Virginia, Dick Durbin of Illinois, Jackie Rosen of Nevada, John Fetterman, of course, Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, and orchestrated behind the scenes by none other than nobody's boy, Chuck Schumer. So, again, when they had all the cards, they decided to be like, this is unfair. Let me play with my cards facing you and let's end the shutdown. There's many different reasons. I understand things are rough when it comes to air travel, that TSA agents, that air traffic controllers are not getting paid. This is like not a time to want to fly, right? You got Thanksgiving coming up, but all of that pressure, all of that annoyance, that was all falling on Republicans. And instead, Republicans who are holding out for what? Yes, to pay federal workers, yes, to respect them, but also holding out for the ACA subsidies. Again, the Affordable Care Act, which is everything but affordable, was made minimally more affordable because of the tax credits that were passed after or during the pandemic. And now those are going to be going away because of these 8 Democrats folding on the shutdown, because of the fact that all the pressure around healthcare has gone, and the fact that millions and millions and millions of Americans will not be able to afford to buy health insurance because of the exorbitant prices, the like 300% surges. The difference again between a $300, mine's going up by $300. Luckily, I've like personal, I'm like, we stopped renting this garage. Now I can pay for that. But the point is, most people cannot afford $300 more a month on anything, let alone your own health care. So many people are going to be going without. But guys, don't say the Democrats weren't given something in exchange. They absolutely were. They were given a promise. They were given a promise. They were promised by Republicans that they would have a vote on the ACA. They weren't promised a positive vote, like a vote with Democrats to preserve the ACA subsidies. They were just promised a vote, which, spoiler, narrator voice, neither of those things will happen. Here is Jeanne Shaheen being asked by Manu Raju of CNN specifically about doing this something for nothing caving.
Thank you. Yeah. You say you're fighting on the Affordable Care Act. What do you say to your colleagues who say this isn't a fight, this is a capitulation? You're putting together, you're agreeing to a vote on a bill that it almost certainly will not become law, and you're allowing that to happen.
Well, first of all, there was, as long as the government shut down, the clear statement from Senator Thune and the Republican majority, and they control the Senate, the House, the White House, was we will not talk about health care with you. So there was no vote that we were going to get on the Affordable Care Act, premium tax credits. We have a guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that we will write. Not that the Republicans will write, although I do think it's important for us to engage with them because we need a bipartisan bill that we know is going to get enacted to provide the relief that Americans need. And
it will not get enacted. It will not be, they will not vote on that. They do not care. They are bending over backwards to prevent 42 million Americans from eating food. And you were promised a vote. Oh, we're going to write it. We're going to write it. But then she says, we're going to write it. But we also want Republicans to help us write it. Well, which is it? Like, what? We are going to write it. None of it matters. This is all in your head. And notice when she said, well, so long as the shutdown was happening, they said they weren't going to talk about healthcare. They told us they wouldn't. So the same people who promised you, like, none of this makes sense unless you are a coward, unless you are a coward who is retiring in her case. Okay? This is so unforgivable. This is so ridiculous, right? They got nothing. They will get nothing. Millions of people are going to go into medical debt or die because they will not have health care. Okay? Republicans couldn't give a rat's ass about making health care more affordable. But again, neither do Democrats really, right? We know that private insurers lobby Democrats just as much as they do Republicans. And of course, this was reported from Zateo, but apparently Republicans laughing in Democrats' faces. This was from Zateo this morning. The Trump White House, 2 White House officials and 2 other Trump advisors could barely contain their giddiness when asked by Zateo about the latest instance of Democratic elite capitulating to Trump. Multiple Trump aides and allies kept gratuitously using terms such as losers and pussies as they reveled in the relief from a shutdown that even President Trump acknowledged was getting Republicans killed politically. So, again, I also take umbrage with the use of pussy. They all lack the depth and the warmth of a pussy, but here we are. That's what they're doing. They got a Hail Mary from Democrats, and it really does, you understand. It's not controlled opposition. This is just, they are the status quo. They do not fight for working people. They do not care about working people. They care about airlines who have to cut their flights. They care about Black Friday sales. Meanwhile, the people very pissed at Chuck Schumer. Let me hang on. Here we go.
What about Democrats nationwide feeling about Chuck Schumer? I think the word of the day is terrible, 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 terrible. To quote another Charles Barkley when it comes to Chuck Schumer. Look at this. Least popular Dem Senate leader ever. I looked at all of the polls going all the way back since 1985. The one who has the lowest rating among Democrats is, in fact, Chuck Schumer. Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at least.
Well, that's not, you judges, well, sometimes you gotta lead from behind. Look, the other thing last I'm going to say, obviously we all hate Chuck Schumer. Did you know that Chuck Schumer could actually be ousted as Senate leader, minority leader, with a vote from Democratic senators? This is David Dayen from the American Prospect. Any Senate Democrat can offer a motion to challenge his leadership position, and it would have to get a vote within 7 days. So look, here's the thing. These 8 Senate Democrats seem to have been running cover for other Senate Democrats that didn't want to put their name or faces on this because they are up for re-election, like John Ossoff, but they also would have voted for it. So I'm not saying that they'll actually take Chuck Schumer out of leadership because, again, he's just sort of he's the errand boy. He's the one who gets all the, smoke, but they all kind of, the centrist smoke, they're all on board for it too. However, are we not calling for Bernie Sanders to try and offer a challenge to Chuck Schumer's leadership? If this were Republicans, would they not do this immediately? just on some optics, right? You'd get, remember how Kevin McCarthy got ousted? Remember how Mike Johnson got in? Of course they would do it because they know how weak they look. So do it, Sanders. I mean, I'm not holding my breath, but just so you know, any Senate Democrat could call on Chuck Schumer could mount a challenge. So listen, call your senator. If you like your senator, if you like Elizabeth Warren, if you like Bernie, let's put a little pressure campaign. Let's go. They could step down. Anyway, it's there's so much to say. It's super disappointing. I can't believe we cannot even enjoy multiple weeks, not even a week of Tuesday's electoral victories. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do